So, hello everyone. Today we've been walking around the village of Zimba here in southern Zambia, and we've been chaperoned and we've been learning a lot from Mr. Passwell Nyambe, who is the executive director of the Kocebuka Community Foundation, and he's been teaching us about education and health and helping us understand how the people live here and the challenges that they face, the triumphs that they have, but also the challenges that they face. One thing, Passwell, that I had read about was that there is a very severe drought here in southern Zambia. And I was wondering if you could tell us how that has affected the people who live here, particularly in Zimba, where we've gotten to know the people as we've worked at the Zimba Eye Hospital.
Thank you very much. For sure, I think the information you got is very true. This same disaster has since actually been declared as a national disaster. So what it is normally our rain season would begin somewhere late October or early November. And this is the time when people would begin to grow their corn or maize. And maize is the main staple food that all the families around in Zambia actually depend on for their daily livelihood and as well as for their income. So they would normally plant this maize around November. And for sure, like this season that we are talking about, the rain started somewhere in November and people planted their maize. So normally the rain season is supposed to run for about 5 months. So it would start around November, go on up to late March. But for this particular season that we are talking about, we just had rains for literally 1 month and a week. So meaning that all this time there was no rain, and the corn, which is actually entirely dependent on the rain, withered and completely dried. So meaning that there will be no harvest. So what does this mean? This essentially means that there will be no food in the household. This as well adds to the water insecurity around, because most of the water sources are actually supposed to be replenished by the rain season. So meaning that since we didn't have any rain season this year, it means that there will be food insecurity and water insecurity. Most of the families will have nothing to eat for this year, and this is more of the reason why even the nation has declared this as a national disaster. So there is a total disaster, and this is unprecedented. Even the people that have actually been much longer confess that they have never witnessed such a situation as what we have this year. Yes.
Well, that sounds very severe.
Yes.
You know, as a physician, I always worry particularly about young children, mothers who are pregnant, babies who are still breastfeeding, but also small children, because they are particularly vulnerable to having poor nutrition if they don't get enough calories, if they don't get enough protein. How are the mothers and children doing?
This is a very worrisome situation. As an organization, as Kocebuka Community Foundation, we particularly work with children, women, and persons with disabilities. So even before this, we know that these people, the children in most of the areas, have not had any access to nutrition. So with this drought now, it means that the situation will be very bad for them, because most of the families definitely will not be able to find food. When we have severe situations such as this, sometimes the families tend to ration their food. Instead of having 3 meals, sometimes they will only have one meal in a day. So this is how bad the situation is. So the children and pregnant women, definitely the situation is very bad. And this is more of the reason why even in the national address, the president had to appeal for humanitarian assistance, because definitely this will be a very big problem, which will last way beyond beyond this year, because we don't expect any food supply within the communities till the next season, which will be coming late this year and going into the next year. Yes.
So we come from a community where the people are very generous. What would be the best way for people at home in the U.S. and Canada and other countries abroad that might hear this education that you're giving us today? What would be the best way to help?
So I would start with the children, especially those that are going into school, because what is likely to happen is that because of this hunger situation, most of the children will not be able to attend school, because they can't go to school on an empty stomach. They can't concentrate in class on an empty stomach. So in our view, as an organization, we feel that if there can be any assistance that can be given to these, especially the most vulnerable community schools, where maybe a meal can be provided to a child, that would ensure that the children would be able to attend school, and that would as well try to assist in the area of nutrition, because the food that can be supplied can try to regenerate and maybe sustain their nutritional requirements. So this situation is really bad. We really need a lot of mitigation other than the long-term assistance that may be required for the families to survive. But I think there is need for immediate mitigation steps to be taken now.
So we have a nonprofit organization started by Dr. Nancy Jameson and myself, and it is to help provide health care to underserved communities. You took us on a very nice tour of the community school, and we saw the wonderful, beautiful children, very disciplined, working hard. If people wanted to give assistance that could possibly benefit those children, that could supply, we talked to the teachers, and they do give them a meal there that may possibly be their best meal of the day. If they donated, let's say, to our nonprofit and earmarked it, and we then sent those funds along to you, could you use those directly? If our foundation said this is earmarked for school nutrition, could you deliver those funds, make sure that food is going, funding for food is going to those schools specifically through your foundation?
Definitely that we can, because we are an organization that is audited. For every fund that come into the organization, we have to declare which donations came from who and what it was used for. And that is a precondition for us to have the operational license for the succeeding year. So definitely, if any donation is made, it's a donation that will be acknowledged, and it's a donation that will definitely be going to the books, and it will be declared. And especially now that this is a disaster year, we are required by law that every assistance towards disaster relief or maybe trying to mitigate this, the situation is recorded, so that in the end, the country as a whole will know how much came by way of donations to assist the communities that we live around. So definitely, you can rest assured that any donation that comes here will be put as designated to the people that are supposed to receive that.
Thank you. That's very reassuring. I just wanted to mention that behind us we see the small patch of maize, of corn, we call it corn, that was planted here. And though this corn is green, it's because it's in a bit of a shaded area. We walked around and we've seen actually quite a bit of southern Zambia now. And every cornfield I've seen has been really brown, and all of the corn has failed. There's really been no corn harvest here, which is the main source of calories and nutrition. It's the underpinning of every single meal here in southern Zambia, and specifically in Zimba. They have still some corn supplies, but they're running out. People are having food insufficiency. And so I want to say just two other things about this that I have met on more than one occasion now with Passwell, and I know his wife. I know they've been here for years. Their reputation is absolutely sterling. This is a foundation, this is a charity that we can all trust is going to deliver. These folks are absolutely dedicated to the service they're providing to this community. And I can personally vouch for them, and the folks that I'm working with at the Zimba Eye Hospital who've been here for 30 years, they've known Passwell for many years. His wife Charity works at the Zimba Eye Hospital. I know her, I have worked with her personally. These are people we can trust. They are going to deliver these funds. So they are going to become part of our fundraising process. I have promised funding, of course, to the Zimba Eye Hospital, and all of you have been very generous. But I myself am going to donate to them, and we're going to try to get our people also to understand this and realize what a devastating impact this is having on the community, and that we can support them. We can do it, and we will do it. And I'm going to reach out to all of you. So thank you very much for watching this video, and we appreciate the support. Anything that you give to Eye Surgeons International that you want to earmark, there is on the website there is a place where you can contact me. You can simply say earmark this for the Kocebuka Community Foundation for, let's say you want to say, for children's nutrition program. You can do that. I will personally make sure that it goes to Passwell, and he's going to make sure that is used in the best possible way. Please look on the website for photographs of the young children in the schools. They're beautiful children. They're working hard. They're the future of this area. They want to be doctors. They want to be nurses. They want to be engineers. They are the future. So let's support them. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you, Passwell.
Thank you. You're welcome.